number 5, we have, going from all these books that I just mentioned were published from either 2018 or 2020. Limitless was a brand new book. But now with this book, we go back to the 1940s and really with stories of the late 1800s and early 1900s. And this is Gandhi's Autobiography, subtitled My Experiments with Truth. So I found myself really enthralled with Gandhi's biography, which I discovered in the dusty basement office library of my 95-year-old grandfather's farm. I was there over summer of 2020. It was a hot summer, and I found myself, while reading this book, really relating to the hot climate of India, and I just felt transported and plunged right into the depths of Gandhi's world. The incredible depiction of life in Gandhi's eyes is a brilliant masterclass in humility and sacrifice. It's a deep dive analysis of the human experience. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. I don't know if words can really describe it for me. It's just, this is Gandhi's autobiography, right? This is literally, he wrote this, right? This is transporting you into the mind of Gandhi and seeing the experiences of his life through his own eyes and in his own words. Truly phenomenal. The reflections of Gandhi's life from childhood to about middle age, in his own words, an important moment in history to learn from and to truly understand. And I was able to learn so much about human behavior and activity during the late 19th to early 20th century. The fact that I read this book during this crazy pandemic year, again, helped me get through the year with a more positive outlook and encouraged me to be more compassionate with others and more inspired by the human spirit. I also feel a personal connection to Gandhi, and that is thanks to my grandfather whose library I actually discovered this book here in. And this past summer, my grandfather told me a story about many years ago, I think in the 80s, he traveled to India himself as a Canadian agriculture delegate or some sort of title like that. He was working for the Saskatchewan wheat pool at the time. And so he traveled to India to do work with Indian farmers through the organizations that my grandfather was working with. And during his time there, he was partnered with a direct disciple of Gandhi, who my grandfather simply referred to as Bhai, Bhai, which is an Indian word for brother or bro or something like that. And Gandhi actually uses this word himself throughout the book, so I became familiar with Bhai. And this former disciple of Gandhi's told a story to my grandfather about how he went to a town to help bring order to it through creating a legal system to some place that was sort of chaotic with family feuds going on and such. And so through that story and through my grandfather's experience with this guy, my grandpa's highlight was learning and understanding firsthand respect. Okay, he saw how much that Bhai and others respected Gandhi and what Gandhi was able to do for his people and his country, right? The respect that he inspired throughout decades, throughout generations in India, right? And you can only imagine, in order to earn such respect, one must really, really hold themselves to extremely high standards, which Gandhi evidently was able to do so. And just reading this book, Gandhi's life is an example of proper being that I believe is unparalleled in recent documented history, right? It's like reading about, this kind of maybe is a weird comparison, although I'm sure I'm not the first to make this, but it's almost like reading about Jesus, but in a matter-of-fact way, right? It's sad to say, but, the life of Jesus Christ is there's so much doubt about it, right? So many people are against it. So many people may dismiss it. And then on the other hand, a lot of people are really gung-ho about Jesus. And there's just kind of this divide between the two, right? Some people say it's all fake. Other people believe it to be gospel, literally, right? But with Gandhi, he was a person that lived to such a high ideal, and it's all true, right? It's documented. It's recent history, relatively recent history. I mean, there's photographs of Gandhi, there's video footage of Gandhi. You can hear his voice in his later years through video, right? And that just wasn't the case with Jesus, because it was so long ago that, of course, there's going to be people who have grown to doubt the teachings or the experiences of Jesus. But with Gandhi, he lived this life that was so saint-like, right? So perfect, like just so beyond human. My experiments with truth. He just tried to live the most truthful, honest, and good life ever. And we're able to actually read stuff that he directly wrote. There's no conspiracy, there's no doubt about what he wrote. And so I think that's just beautiful and truly amazing, and something that I'm very thankful to have read during this year.